Hey guys, Karasiv here with another review. This time I'll be reading the Zyuoh Cube 456 Doubutsu Gattai Deluxe Zyuoh Wild from Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger. This is the secondary mecha of the Zyuohgers, as piloted by Zyuoh Elephant, Zyuoh Tiger, and Zyuoh Gorilla. This set includes 4 things, 3 Zyuoh Cubes, and the Big Wild Cannon. So, let's get started. So to start, we're going to take a look at Zyuoh Cube 4, Cube Elephant. So to start off, this is a little bit different from the other Zyuoh Cubes and is kind of an odd one out, as even though Zyuoh Elephant is a Green Ranger, Cube Elephant has a base color of dark gray, which is a little bit closer to the color of real elephants. Though you can still see a little bit of green here on the right. Of course, it has the number 4, and this is also an interesting design, as on the front you can see part of its animal mode's face, right here on the right. Where the rest of the face continues over on this side. You have the back, which has more green to it, and it'll come into play more later. And the other side, as well as the top and bottom. To transform it, first you're going to take this part and fold it back. Then lift up the head, 2 notches, pull out the trunk all the way like this, then lower it down 1 notch. And there you have Cube Elephant in animal mode. So again, this is interesting as it's a rather asymmetrical design. You can still see that it is clearly an elephant, with the trunk and the tusks. And you can see a little bit more green back here, but you'll also notice that this part sticks out from the side. And it has still part of the number 4 here on the head. But one of the advantages of its transformation is that this has a bit of articulation. You move the head up and down, and rotate the trunk a little bit, and you can articulate the body at the waist. And me personally, I like to have the trunk at a 90-degree angle like this, parallel to the ground. Or, I guess, yeah, parallel to the ground rather than this 90-degree angle. But it is a pretty cool design. Next is Zyuoh Cube 5, Cube Tiger. So, this one is obviously mainly white in color, with a little bit of black and some gold here on the back. You can see a lot of molded in details, as usual. And here you can see what will become a waist piece. And so for the transformation, you're going to start by coming to the back, pulling out the tiger's head, extend out the body, and take this part from number 5 and fold out to become the tail. There you have Cube Tiger in animal mode. Once again, this is a pretty blocky design, but it looks pretty good. You can see they did add some stripes here on the head and the front of the body. And it is pretty clever that they took all of the lines in the number 5 and turned them into stripes for the tail. And it is pretty cool that you have both legs joined together while in cube mode. Then you pull out the second set for the animal mode. You move the head up a little bit because of the transformation. It also has a little gimmick where you can pull out these 2 upper claws, just like so. You can have them up like this, change them at different angles, and also have them clipped in here on the front. Which once again gives you a little bit more to do with this Zyuoh Cube. Next we come to the third cube in the set, Zyuoh Cube 6, Cube Gorilla. So, even though this belongs to the primarily red Zyuoh Gorilla, the base color is actually black, with most of the red here being paint, though a little bit of it is plastic. You of course see the number 6 on the front. Once again you see a lot of panel lining to it, and what will become a torso here on the back. So for the transformation, I'm going to start off by splitting the number 6 at the front to fold out the arms. Then come around to the front, rotate them 90 degrees up, and using these slider tabs, pull them out, just like so. Then fold up the face via this notch here. And for the last step, we're going to bring in the Big Wild Cannon, which is Zyuoh Wild's equivalent to the Big King's Sword. This big golden cannon with the smaller Wild Cannon on top of it. Now come around to the back. You can see this little indicator here. It shows the outline of the Big Wild Cannon, so I'm going to clip it into the shoulder. And there we have Cube Gorilla in animal mode. So this one is pretty interesting, as unlike with Cube Eagle, this one actually incorporates the big weapon for its set into the animal mode, which I think looks pretty cool. And once again, thanks to this design, you do get a little bit of articulation as you can move around the arms. Though this one is definitely another kind of cartoony design, as the face is right in the middle of the body rather than having a neck. Though at the very least they did a good job at having it assume a gorilla stance of basically knuckle dragging, or walking on its knuckles. And you can see that they did do a good job of making it still look like a gorilla, even with the odd body proportions. And this is another one of my favorites when it comes to the Zyuoh cubes. So, next we gotta combine them. Like with Zyuoh King, the first step is to turn them back from animal mode to cube mode. So, this time we're going to stack them in ascending order. Meaning 4, 5, 6. Then spin them around and fold forward will be the arms. Then take the Big Wild Cannon, flip it around, fold in the handle, fold out the head, then collapse it like so, and clip it onto the back. Then fold out these 2 panels on the shoulders, fold down the arms, or extend them rather. Fold out these 2 panels to reveal a face. Then take out the Wild Can and place it in the hand. And there you have Zyuoh Wild. So as you can see, there are definitely some new details revealed here. You can see the head, which has a visor-like design, as well as these new shoulder panels that have these white lines that actually quite well match up and line up with the white lines going through the chest, as well as getting a bit more detail and getting to see the actual fists. You of course see that it does line up well with the Zyuoh, or the gorilla, making the torso, the tiger making the waist, and the elephant making the feet. Of course, this has the same articulation as Zyuoh King, so it's 360 rotation all around. Though one of the odd things is that with the Wild Cannon, the way it's supposed to be held is with this part outwards, but as you see, this is supposed to be like a targeting scope. So alternately, you can attach it using the other peg, so it actually looks like it's using the scope. But besides that, this has another gimmick. So, you take these little buttons on the forearms, and then slide them forward. It launches the fists. It does so just via a couple of pressure launchers. And that's actually a pretty fun gimmick. It's simple, but I think in general, a rocket punch is always something fun to have on a robot. Additionally, now that we have both Zyuoh King and Zyuoh Wild, we can make different combinations of them. While these are officially called Zyuoh King and Zyuoh Wild, their secondary names are Zyuoh King 123 and Zyuoh Wild 456. As you can swap out the parts and give them different numbered combinations. So, we can do the basic switch, which will be flip these around, turn back into the numbered totems, and swap out the top blocks, top cubes. Now we have Zyuoh King 145 and Zyuoh Wild 236. And for the rest of these, I'll make it a little bit quicker by not transferring them back into their cube modes. So, this time we can swap out just the legs. Now we have Zyuoh King 125 and Zyuoh Wild 246. Then we can swap out both the waist and legs. And we got Zyuoh King 124 and Zyuoh Wild 356. So basically you get 8 different combinations with these 6 Zyuoh cubes. That's definitely pretty cool, as you can mix and match as you please. And what it also means is that you can have 2 mechs combined at all times, which is actually pretty important because the 3 components for Zyuoh Wild were originally sold separately. And there we go. Overall, I think that Zyuoh Wild is a very cool and fun mech. On their own, the 3 Zyuoh cubes included here can do a little bit more than the ones from Zyuoh King, as each one has a little bit more articulation. And when combined, they have perhaps a bit of a cleaner look, as you don't have parts of the others on the waists or legs as connection points to complete the look. They're more self-contained in that way, and there's more you can do with it, as in addition to the Wild Cannon, which can be held 2 ways in either hand. You also have the Rocket Punch feature. But, of course, if you have both of them, then, as you'd see in the last part, you can make up to 8 different combinations. And while you can technically make other combinations by switching around the order of the parts, those 8 are the only official combinations. And in order to really get the combinations to work, you have to have either Zyuoh King or Zyuoh Wild's basic head and torso, meaning that the top has to always be either Cube Eagle or Cube Gorilla. And like I said earlier, these were sold separately originally, so that's kind of where I think they have that advantage, as because Cube Elephant, Cube Tiger, and Cube Elephant were initially individual products sold on their own, they were given a little bit more so that you could still play with them on their own and have a little bit to do. So if you're getting just one of the 2 mechs so far, I would personally recommend Zyuoh Wild, but if you can afford it and if you have Zyuoh King, then I definitely recommend getting Zyuoh Wild as well, so that you can make those different combinations. But overall, I think this is definitely another great addition to the Zyuoh Cube series, and it's looking pretty promising so far. So, next time I'll be reviewing the Yokai Watch Doki Doki Rocket game. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and or subscribe, and you can check me out on Facebook at facebook.com/KRX50. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.